The prosecution, they call first witness.
Yes, Your Honor, prosecution calls Lynn Stark to the stand.
Lynn Stark! Please proceed to the witness stand. Raise your right hand. You solemnly affirm that testimony you're about to give will faithfully and truthfully report the facts and rules of the mock trial competition.
I do.
Please be seated. Please state your first and last name, spell your last for the record.
Lynn Stark, S-T-A-R-K.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may I begin?
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Stark. How old are you?
I am 25 years old.
And where do you currently reside?
I currently live in the United States, but originally I'm from Tantera.
Why did you immigrate to the United States?
Well, I needed a job. There was no working back in Tantera, and I had to support my family.
What jobs, if any, did you apply for?
I applied for a job as a cook at a Tantera restaurant.
Were you ever contacted for this job?
Yes, I received a call from the owner shortly after I applied and went to the interview. She identified herself as Cameron Aubrey.
Can you please identify Cameron Aubrey in court today?
Yes, she's at the end of the defense counsel table wearing a floral shirt.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
What, if anything, do you recall from the interview?
What I can remember was when Miss Aubrey asked me if anyone would miss me in Tantera if I were gone.
What happened after the interview?
Miss Aubrey gave me the job, and she told me that she would help bring my family to the United States.
When did you start working at Taste of Tantera?
I started the job on November 2nd, 2015. That was also the day I gave Miss Aubrey my legal documents.
Now, where did you live when you were working at Taste of Tantera?
My boss insisted that I lived in a room inside the restaurant.
Could you please describe this room?
It was cramped and filthy. There were bars on the windows and a leaky faucet. The only entrance to my room was through a self-locking door.
Could you please elaborate on this self-locking door?
The door had a note on it, as well as Miss Aubrey telling me that it was to always remain open. I did have a key to it, but I left it in my room.
Now, can you describe the working conditions when you first started?
Initially, it was bearable. I would start at around 8 a.m. and work for 11 hours. But during these working hours, I was always busy.
Ms. Stark, you just said initially it was bearable. Did something change?
Yes, unfortunately.
What changed?
To my knowledge, Miss Aubrey was going to hire another chef, but I was still cooking for lunch and dinner by myself. Overall, I was working 16 plus hours, 7 days a week.
What changes, if any, did you notice from the defendant?
She started to threaten me. She would yell at me to keep my head down and work faster, and say that I was going to be fired and threaten to lose my visa.
Were you at all paid for your work?
Barely. I received $500 in cash the first month, but then it decreased to $400. Miss Aubrey told me this was only temporary, but the money wasn't worth it.
What do you mean the money wasn't worth it?
I began to suffer from severe anxiety and depression around January. It didn't matter if I had back pain or a fever, I was forced to work.
Did you ever ask the defendant for any time off?
Yes, once.
Why?
My sister wasn't doing very well, and I desperately wanted to see her while I still could.
What was the defendant's response to this?
She became angry with me, and I was told I could never leave. She still had my passport, too.
What did you do next?
I had to walk away, but when I went through the self-locking door that led to my apartment, Cameron slammed it shut behind me.
What happened after that?
I heard her say through the door that it was going to be a while before I got anywhere. The next morning, when I realized that I couldn't get out and panicked, I started sobbing and banging on the door and screaming for help.
Ms. Stark, why didn't you just leave the room?
I didn't have a choice. I went to look for my key to get out, but it wasn't where I had seen it just the previous morning. It was gone.
How did you get out of this room?
I was finally let out at 7 in the morning by Miss Aubrey. She said, "Missing your key," then laughed at me and walked away.
What did you do next?
At this point, I knew I needed help. On March 10th, I saw one of our regulars, Officer West at Taste of Cantera. I knew what had to be done.
Ms. Stark, what had to be done?
I needed to write a note and hand it to Officer West. That is what I proceeded to do.
What did this note say?
Please help me. I am treated like a slave.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay as to the contents of the note.
Well, here for counsel.
Your Honor, this is an exception to the hearsay rule as it demonstrates Lynn Stark's then existing state of mind. Lynn's beliefs are relevant under element 1 of human trafficking, being that depriving and violating someone of their personal liberty includes threats that a reasonable person believes the defendant will carry out. The very fact that Ms. Stark wrote this letter demonstrates that she believed Karen would carry out the threat and deport her back to Tantera.
Do you have a response to the state of mind exception?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense holds that the portion of the note that says I'm treated like a slave is being used for the truth of the matter.
Certainly is, but prosecution argues that it comes with an exception to the hearsay rule.
I submit to your decision, Your Honor.
All right, overruled.
Ms. Stark, directing your attention to Exhibit B, is this a copy of the note you received, or is this a copy of the note that you wrote?
Yes, it is.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of the note you wrote on March 10th?
Yes.
Your Honor, we request that Exhibit B be moved into evidence.
Is there any objection?
Objection, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit B is received.
Ms. Stark, did anything of significance happen on March 10th?
Absolutely. Thanks to Officer West, I was finally released after 4 grueling months. Karen Aubrey was arrested and detained.
Thank you, Ms. Stark. No further questions at this time.
All right, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
May.
Good afternoon, Ms. Stark.
Good afternoon, Mr. Munch.
Before moving to the United States, you had the equivalent of a high school education in Tantera, is that correct?
I suppose yes.
And for some time, you went to college in Tantera,
That is true.
where you studied accounting, is that correct?
Yes.
But then after a short time, you chose to drop out.
That is true.
Now, while you worked at Taste of Tantera, you occasionally were able to call your family back home, is that correct?
Occasionally, yes.
Your Honor, permission to approach the exhibits?
Yes.
Now, just to clarify, Ms. Stark, you called your family from the room in the exhibit at his labeled office, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, also when you began working at Taste of Tantera, your employer, Miss Aubrey, gave you money for personal items, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, moving to the door at the bottom of the stairwell, you were given a key for this, correct?
That is true.
And you were also told by Miss Aubrey that it was to remain open.
Yes.
Now, this door was closed on the evening of March 9th, is that correct?
It was slammed by Miss Aubrey, yes.
And the next time you went downstairs to try and open it was the next morning, correct?
That is true.
You didn't try to open it in between that night and the next morning when you went downstairs.
No, I was too exhausted.
So, moving back to your pay, you were paid an amount of money by Miss Aubrey, is that correct?
That is true.
Objection, Your Honor, vague and ambiguous as to amount of money.
Well, no, I don't think it's vague or ambiguous. It's any amount, really, it's a question, I really, overruled.
This amount was $1,700, correct?
That's true.
And of this money, you sent $1,400 to your family in Tantera, is that correct?
Yes.
Now again, just to clarify, it was your own choice to send this money away, correct?
Yes, I needed to support my family.
But no one forced you to send this money.
No, unfortunately.
Thank you, Ms. Stark. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Ms. Stark, on cross-examination, you were asked about your pay. Could you please clarify as to what your pay was at Taste of Tantera?
Well, my total pay a month was $800 to $900, but half of that went to room and food.
Thank you, Ms. Stark. No further questions at this time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Stark, you may step down. All right, the prosecution may call its next witness.